What's up, pretty gang? It's your favorite nail tech Peaches back with another video. Today we are going to be doing acrylic toes, and I'm going to be talking to you guys about some reasons why you might not be getting the result that you want. There's a good amount of reasons why your results might not be exactly crisp or maybe natural looking. So before we go ahead and go over a couple of things, I want to make sure you guys see all the coupon codes as well as my Amazon storefront in the description box below. Make sure that you guys are subscribed, notifications on, and you guys can now join my channel to become a member. It's really cheap price per month, and it provides extra videos, behind the scenes footage, as well as group check-ins through Instagram video. But keep in mind that it's not going to show you on the actual mobile YouTube app. You either need to be on your computer or on the actual internet for it to show the join button. I don't know why that is, but that's just kind of how it is. So this video is not really going to be like a tutorial, but you guys are basically going to watch me go through this process, and I'm just going to give you some tips on how you can improve and some common problems that I personally can identify when I look at other people's work or when people ask questions and things like that. So of course we're going to start with prep. We just did a soak off, so I am basically making sure that I get off all the residue. On this foot we only soaked off 2 toenails, which is the first 2. So you're going to see me go back in with a zebra file, which I believe is 100 grit. When you guys in these videos, if you see me using a zebra file, that means I'm just doing toes. But if you see me doing a black file, that means I just did that person's nails, so I'm using that file on their feet as well. If you guys did not know, you cannot, well, I'll say you should not use reuse files on clients. I don't know how there's a big debate on that, but apparently, state by state laws are different, and people go nuts about I'm so clean, but watch me reuse files over and over. Look, it kind of goes against all infection control protocols, so I don't know, but you can use the same file on the same person because it's them, you know what I'm saying? So we're gonna of course prime. I use Young Nails Protein Bond, and this is the color we're using today by Not Polished. I get a lot of people that ask what colors I'm using. You guys, I always show them in the video, so if you didn't get it, just rewind a little bit, to the beginning. So on this first toe, on the big toe, it's gonna look like it's gonna come out kind of sloppy, or oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Basically what happened is I grabbed a large bead, and her toenails is actually not that big as it looks, so the bead pretty much took up all the space. And rather than taking it off and start again, I personally would rather just use the bead and maneuver it until I get the job done. Okay, so that's what we're looking at right now. So something that I notice or people have questions about is making their work look natural. A lot of times I think people have a hard time getting the thickness right, because keep in mind, acrylic toes is purely aesthetic. Even when you're doing not a reenactment, when I'm doing reconstructions and stuff, yes, I am putting back missing parts of what would be the toenail, but I'm not putting in a whole excessive amount of strength, because they are just toenails, and this is really just kind of an enhancement that enhances what you already have, rather than we're building something that needs strength, because this is an extremely extended enhancement. It's not like nails. So I personally, when I first started doing acrylic toes years ago, it took me a good while to be able to get the thickness right. And what I noticed is, basically, once I got better on overlays on the hands, I started to realize you got to be doing your toenails as if they're overlays on the hands. Very similar. And if you're a person that struggles with the thickness on overlays on the hands as well, then that means you're more than likely struggling overall with what types of services needs a lot of strength and what type of services do not. So that is the main problem. In order to fix that, you're just going to have to play around and see what type of results it yields. So you can see this toenail, she doesn't really need any type of anything, because she's had these on for probably 6 weeks or more, and so her big toe pretty much stays at this consistent length unless she breaks it, just because she pretty much keeps acrylic toes on for the majority of the time. So you can see I didn't need to put any strength in at all, because this is this is her toenail. It's all her toenail. So all I'm doing is laying a layer of acrylic that is thick enough to not be sheer and to not get filed away when I go in and file. So that's a good rule of thumb, because it's kind of like, think of it as kind of like veneers in a way. Like underneath you still have something, but on top is it's just a visual. You know what I'm saying? Like veneers don't have to be like stronger than the teeth you already have. You know, it's just they're being bonded on, so like you have to have a good, like, your overall practices, I guess, your steps have to be good so that way they don't keep popping off. But like there's already strength there. You see what I'm saying? So you can see basically, I'm just gonna go into a little bit more detail. You can see when I am doing acrylic toes, right? You can see I'm not building it up. I'm literally just using enough acrylic so I can cover this toenail and for it to not be sheer. So you see what I'm saying? Like I'm not going in layers. I don't have to like, let me extend the tip and do this and do that. Like there isn't none of that, because this is just literally enhancing what the person already has. You see what I'm saying? So that's like a major thing that I notice that people often have questions or comments about. That's like one of the biggest compliments that people give as well, like just in general, like, oh wow, those look so natural. So you can tell that's what everybody's end goal is, the client as well as the nail tech. You know what I'm saying? So the second thing that could possibly be an issue that you might be struggling with if you're not getting the result that you want is just going to be length. So a lot of times people either do the acrylic toenails too long or too short. So basically, if you do them too short, and you might have seen this as well, if you do them too short, then you see way too much toenail over the top of everything, and that might not be the exact look that you're going for. Now there's some people that want like super short, super natural, but even still, for me personally, I'm still going to basically keep it at exactly what they have. So like for her, you can see like this length is considered natural because like this is her actual length. Now keep in mind, everybody's toes are different, toenails are different, you know, all of those type of things. So you're gonna have to like extend them, yes, a little bit, because when you go and file, you're basically taking away most of the length that you extended, but you still need to get that shape. So I would say when you're going ahead and doing your application, do not go overly short, because then you don't have anything to work with as far as shaping, which leads me into my next point. You may not be happy with the results because of the shaping. Now shaping can be difficult, and if your application with toenails is not there yet, it's gonna give you a hard time. It's gonna be a pain in the ass. But you have to realize, and I had to get to the point where I started realizing like, dang, I have to kind of make them a little bit longer than my end result, because I know when I go in and shape, I'm going to take a good amount away. Now I'm at the point, because I do it so often and it's been so many years, that I can pretty much like do the length to like pretty close to what I want it to be, because like I don't have to shape too much, if you get what I'm saying. But in the past, when shape was, you know, something that I was learning on, you know, hands, let alone feet, I'm still trying to get hands together. It's one of those things where you kind of have to use your like reasoning skills and your critical thinking and think, if I want this result, what's something I can try and get me there? And for me personally, that's when I realized I have to extend them a little bit, because when I file them, they're going to go right back down. And I don't think that's something that people tend to think about, because yeah, they are toenails, but at the end of the day, a good rule of thumb when it comes to length is literally just tip of the toe, especially for the little toenails, just at the tip of the toe. So you can kind of see where they're at right now, because when they put their feet up from the client view, they're gonna like lift them up and be like, oh, I like them. They're gonna appear shorter from that view than they do from this view. So that's another thing to take into consideration when you shape. And that's why typically after I'm done shaping, I'll pretty much sit next to the client and I will look from like with the foot facing in the air, and that's going to tell you exactly what that length is going to look like on them and that shape. You see what I'm saying? So you want to see from different views and different angles. Dang, I gotta put my damn laptop up to charge. I should have just stayed on the floor. better. Sorry. You're gonna have to dang, I'm sorry guys, I lost my train of thought trying to do this. So you're gonna have to really look from different angles. I know a lot of people don't typically say that or tell people that when it comes to toenails, but it's true, because just like hands, when you lift your feet up or whether you put your feet down, it does look differently. Like different angles look different ways. Okay, so those are like the most common issues that I see with toenails. You know, they're too thick is usually the main one, which that's just practice and time and being conscious of how much acrylic are you putting on, and then of course the shape or the length not being what you thought it was going to be. So now we're going to just talk about some quick things in regards to this process in general. So I really feel like, okay, you guys see me do this all the time. It looks very natural, very easy. You're gonna have to learn how to grip how to grip toes and work with different types of toes, because the thing about it, it's not like hands. You cannot move the foot all around. You're working with a very limited amount of space, and moving the foot as much as you would move the hand, it's not going to benefit you much because of the position of the foot. So you have to learn how to work with the foot. Okay, that's a really big part of your results coming out the way that you want them to come out, because you can see how, me personally, I am able to treat toes kind of like they are fingers, but some people have stiff toes. You don't realize how many types of toes there are until you start doing this. Like, some people's toes are very short, but they might be very flexible. Some people have toes that are very close together. Some people's toes face different directions, and so it's your job to know how to grab people's toes and get comfortable, because it's very small. Like, working on toenails, some people's toenails are like twice as small as what she has right now, and we're still there to give them the result that, you know, they want. We cannot blame, like, oh, well, her toenails are small, so she's not gonna get. No, you can't do that, because it's our job to service everyone as equally as possible and keep up a consistent look in our work. Yes, there are going to be some discrepancies, because there are so many variables, but overall, someone should still be able to look and say, wow, my nails match overall what's on her page. You know what I'm saying? And so learning to work with toenails is a very good goal to have if you haven't really thought that deeply into it, because even look how I'm holding the toes. Some I'm holding all the way, like some people's you hold at the knuckle, you know, some people you hold right here at the tip, and it gets to the point where it does become very natural. And so you kind of are going to have to get to that point, you know, stop being afraid to touch feet all the way and kind of get in there and, you know, let's kind of get it together, especially if your goal is to get better at acrylic toes. That's going to be your main goal, or at least one of them, because when you have a good grip, look how much easier it makes to shape. Like, right, you guys can see I'm able to turn and twist each joint and I'm basically able to maneuver as if I would a regular full set, and honestly that helps me to be able to see a lot of different angles. And again, I know this is not something that a lot of other nail techs mention or even say, which I don't know why, but just from looking at other people's work, I kind of see the way, like, everyone holds them differently, but I feel like just get comfortable. Start getting comfortable with feet. Once you get really comfortable with feet and stuff is not bothering you or anything, you're gonna be able to get in there and, you know what I'm saying, and like get the job done. So I don't say all this to like obviously be negative about what anybody's doing, anything. Like I said, all the advice that I give and everything I tell you guys comes from a place of, I don't feel like I started becoming at this particular type of level until I'll say even maybe like 7 months ago, and I've been doing this for almost 4 years. There's just so many things that you learn that you know, a lot of the newer people who are like super popular on YouTube, or like, you know, maybe they didn't have to work in a shop, or, you know, a lot of home-based people might not tell you, because everyone is just basically picking and choosing their clientele. And I I've never gotten to pick and choose my clients. I always kind of had to like take who will book me, or working in a shop, like, hey, this is who came in today. So from that, I've just learned a lot of different ways to do things, because I mean, y'all would not believe some of the types of people that I would have to work with. So that's more that I got story times for you guys, like for days and days and days. So I think just the diversity in the types of clients that I have had have allowed me to be able to gain a substantial amount of knowledge that I can pass on to those who maybe do not have very diverse experiences, because I know it can be hard. So, okay, really quick, we're about to do this acrylic flower. I do have other videos on my channel about learning how to do acrylic flowers, although my flowers are much better now than they were before. But I do have another toenail video about doing acrylic flower on a toe now, so that's more in-depth and detailed. But anyways, you guys get where you see where I'm getting at. Like, I want to help those that are truly wanting to grow and not stay stagnant, because honestly, that's the only way you're going to improve as a nail tech, is to kind of look at yourself and every day use every client as, you know what, I want to get better today. That's what I keep in my head. So I wouldn't be giving you guys this advice if it's not advice that I have not recently took myself. I'm pretty critical of my own work, so I'm constantly finding ways to improve, to, and things like that. So I really want to kind of get other people to start thinking that way, instead of just resorting only to like, let me listen to this YouTube video and I can just, I'm just going to take all of this and run with it, rather than, I feel like I'm trying to get you guys to think about your own work and think about, like, out of the things I say to the, in this video, what applies to you, and maybe like, okay, you can start thinking about a solution, because everybody ain't the same, like, period. So there's no way that my words can hit all of you guys equally, you know what I'm saying? So before the video ends, I do want to let you guys know, I mentioned it briefly, but I did get approved to actually have memberships on my channel. So they're pretty inexpensive for basically what's going to come with becoming a member. Okay, a pretty young thing, if you will. So basically, if you do want to become a member, the join button is only going to show up on the computer, or like if you're looking at the desktop version on your phone, I'm pretty sure. I don't know why it doesn't appear on the YouTube app, but yes, find a computer or on your phone, literally use YouTube on the internet and not in the app, and it will have a join button. You'll be able to join. There's one level, the only level is called Pretty Young Thing, obviously goes in my channel name, and it's like $9 a month, $9 or $10 a month, and with that, you guys are going to be able to get exclusive videos, like members only videos that will be, educational vlogs, just behind the scenes stuff. You guys will be able to have exclusive live streams, to where I am planning on going live, and I know that YouTube has the option to like add others to the live, because that's a good way, like when people who have questions, like maybe while I'm working and things like that, to be able to actually engage. And then obviously members only polls, and then basically like group chats on Instagram. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna, like, how often I'm gonna have them, or obviously you can only have some people, like a couple of people at a time, but I'm really interested in that, so that way I can further, like, more individually help people and get more input, and hopefully that will be like a really good way for like more mentorship, because I know there are some of you guys that like to reach out to me on Instagram, ask me a lot of questions and stuff, and there might be others feeling the same, or there are people that like, they like to send me pictures of their work and stuff. So I feel like that would be a really good way to further help you guys, some of you guys who like really need the extra help. So once again, it's only like $9 a month, and those are all the things that would come with it. Of course, you don't have to feel like you have to become a member. I just put that option there because some people did say that they were interested. So with that being said, this is pretty much the end of the video. I appreciate you guys. You can see she was admiring her toes while I went to go get top coat and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll have a members only video uploading soon for those who do decide to join. And this is the final result. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and the advice. And of course, as always, I will see you guys in the next one.